So today what we're going to be talking about is my well-being management tips. Stress is one of the main triggers for my symptoms, and it's something I discovered 2 years ago. So since then I've been more focused on trying to make sure that I have a clear strategy in place to manage my stress. I want to discuss something new I found around stress management. So stress is one of the main triggers for my symptoms. So it's important for me to look at ways to manage my stress. And obviously, like, whether you're somebody who has IBD or not, stress is always going to be a part of our lives. It's just about finding hacks into handling it, whether it's work, relationships, families, or just your health. There's always going to be a stressful moment in your life. So the best way is to just figure out how you can find helpful tools, helpful strategies to build that resilience to the stressful moments. And then that will help you find solutions as well. So one thing that I've discovered recently, so earlier in the year, is visualization. So this is something that you may have seen on social media before. Maya Rachura, she's sort of a mental fitness coach. She talks about visualization a lot. She has a lot of clients where she helps them, perform to their absolute best. And I just found it interesting. I thought maybe that's a way to, handle my stress, or try and, if there are situations where I'm worried about the outcome, can visualization help elevate the feelings of stress and anxiety before I do the thing? So a quick example is earlier in the year, I was about to take my driving test. I've been learning for a year. I had learned 10 years ago and failed, and then I just didn't drive for 10 years, and I was like, okay, I need to get my license now. So there was a lot of pressure because of the length of time I'd waited before I took my next test, which was 10 years. So I was feeling very worried, very anxious, and then I spoke to some friends, my partner, and one of my cousins, and they were sort of helping me through the worry. And then one of my cousins said, have you tried visualization? Checked out Maya's stuff, and it was useful, so I tried it. What is visualization, you ask? Well, effectively, it's a technique. A lot of athletes use this. So Ronaldo uses it, for instance, if he's got a big final coming up, he's like, oh my god, it's Euros final, Champions League final, I'm feeling a bit stressed about this because it's, the thing that I want. How do I get the best outcome? What you do with visualization is basically a deep walkthrough throughout the entire situation that you might be worried about. So for an example, for myself, I was worrying about the driving test. So I just sat down, closed my eyes, and for 15 to 20 minutes, which is replaying from the moment I get picked up by my driving teacher all the way to completing the driving test, just visualizing step by step exactly how I want it to go. Now, you do that 3, 4, 5 times in a loop. Suddenly, you've done the thing you've been worrying about multiple times. So by the time you get to the action point, which is doing the thing with the test, the Champions League final, in your head, you've already done it a bunch of times, and you just feel a bit more prepared. Like, it's genuinely, it sounds kind of like spiritual, whatever, but it helps. Like, there are lots of tangible evidence that proves that actually this is a very useful way just to calm your nerves, which means that when it is crunch time, you're going to be prepared and you're going to be ready, and you're actually going to feel a bit more confident in having the positive outcomes that you want. One thing I noticed was that my anxiety levels just dropped immediately once I did the visualization, because then I wasn't as worried. And when I was in the car, ignition, the examiner's right next to me, I didn't feel any worry or stress or anything. You know how some you overly sweat and you're just like, oh god, am I going to pass? Am I going to fail? What's going to happen? What if a cyclist comes out of nowhere? Nothing. No, I was almost zen-like during it because I had done it, and I got 0 minors, by the way. I passed, got 0 minors, completely aced it, and the instructor was just like, wow, you know, you don't need to worry. He was like, that was the perfect test. You're very calm, you're in control, you're a good driver. And I have visualization to thank for that. Why is this relevant to stress management? Well, I was feeling stressed before the driving test. Visualized, like, you know, I just spent like, it was like 3 days before the test, just sat there and just walked through the entire test and how the outcome that I wanted, and just kept replaying, driving around Cambridge, etc. And that feeling of worry, the feeling of like chronic stress started to dissipate slowly. And if you are feeling worried, or you have that kind of almost chronic negative thought pattern running through your head, I would recommend trying a visualization if there is something that you are worried about, whether it's having a difficult conversation, sports moment, you know, maybe your team are playing in an important game, or you've got an exam, or you need to have an uncomfortable conversation with somebody at work, or a relative, or your partner. Try it. It should hopefully alleviate your stress, and ultimately it might even lead to the outcome that you want from the thing that you're worried about.